Okay.
A couple of years ago, I'm not sure which year it was, you did an essay called The Punk Manifesto. And you said that punk was the personal expression of uniqueness that came up with being in touch with our human ability to reason and ask questions. And I'm just curious what the difference between that and humanism is, at least in your eyes, because it seems to be fairly similar.
Yeah, well, that came at a time before I really did a lot of research on in anything. That was, probably a good 10 years ago now. I mean, I did a lot of research in paleontology, but I hadn't done much in terms of thinking about religion and morals and whatnot. And so I was trying to define punk, which is like, again, I stepped outside the norm and was highly criticized for it. But I just thought, at that point, punk was almost 20 years old. And I thought, what are we all calling ourselves for punk for if we don't really know what the hell it means? So I tried to give it some shape, some definition, and it had, depending on who you talk to, it had either failed miserably or had some success. But I think you're right, that was kind of a humanist statement that I made. It basically said that punk is part of being human. It's our natural inclination to question things and to try to prove them. And that's pretty much a common theme in humanism as well. Thanks.
Hi. Well, I know you're a humanist now, but were you always kind of like a non-theist, I guess I would call it? Or was there like a point in your life when you were when you realized you didn't believe what other people, like religious people, believe?
Well, I was very fortunate in never having to attend a church ceremony in my life. So, I mean, that was good in one respect. It was also bad in another respect, and I had to figure it out for myself, because I think in church you learn a lot of stuff about where you come from, and regardless of its accuracy. But at least as a kid you're taught that stuff, and you learn, you don't have to figure it out. But the big questions in life are answered, I think, in Sunday school. And I didn't go to Sunday school. I didn't start understanding the bigger questions until late in high school, actually. And when I started studying more natural science, things started to make sense to me. So, it wasn't like an automatic awakening where I said, everything I've learned up to this point is BS, and now I'm something else. It was a slow coming to this position that I'm at right now, and it'll probably evolve further, but I don't think it'll evolve towards a more theistic worldview.
And I don't know if I'm allowed to ask a second question, but
get to the back of the line.
Really quick, do you have any advice for songwriters who, because all of your songs that I've heard are really, they have really good lyrics. So.
Oh, thank you.
I don't know if you have songwriting advice.
My advice for songwriters is be prolific, because it really is a process. It's not just it's not something that you can finish and put away. Every song you write is just a path towards, it's a step on the path towards writing a better song. So the main thing I would say is be dedicated to it, and don't be satisfied with your last work. And don't ever listen to what other people say about your song. That's probably the most important thing. Thank you.
So a question that's commonly addressed to atheists, agnostics, and humanists is, what if you're wrong and you get up to heaven and God's standing there and he asks you, what were you doing this whole time?
Is that really a common question?
Oh, you have no idea.
Really?
I'm in the divinity school, it gets asked a lot.
Listen, I'm so confident in my answer, I can't believe that people are flustered by it. I mean, I'd like to hear some of the answers, but mine is very simple. If that happens and I'm standing before God and he looks at me and thinks I'm a bad person, then he's got to be out of his mind. Because I'm overly Now I know that goes against biblical teaching. That might border on hubris, but I'm pretty sure that I'm not one of those who should go to hell. And you know, as they say, if I am, then I'll see all my friends down there. All right, thank you.
I'm sure you're familiar with the term popular atheism, but for the sake of my question, I'd like to restrict the definition. Popular atheism is commonly referred to as worldviews, beliefs, behaviors, and for this question specifically, media associated with the stereotypical atheist. And I was wondering, would you be so kind to share your opinion on popular atheism in that sense?
Well, I am not even modestly or moderately attracted to the idea of popularizing atheism. I would never hold it against someone who is, because it's become a viable way to sell books. It's become a viable way to get on television, and it's become a viable industry. And I don't go around criticizing people for doing what they think, you know, can earn them a living. So in that sense, I don't criticize it, but I will say I'm not at all attracted to it. I've had opportunities and I've deflected them because I just don't think that if it becomes a media storm or if it becomes a popular thing because it's in all the books and in all magazines and on television, I don't think people will focus on the substantial part of it as much, and I think it'll become a flash in the pan. And I think a lot of these issues are actually very important, and they need to be carefully expressed. I guess I'm just distrustful that when things are blown out of proportion by the media, they lose their substance. They lose their substance, and they aren't as carefully studied anymore. So maybe it's an unfair paranoia.
May I push my question slightly further? How about specifically bad religion songs becoming a tenet of popular atheism?
Well, if churches all over the country decide to start playing bad religion songs, I'd be very happy. Thank you.
Hi, Greg.
Hello.
I've been listening to your songs for a long time now, hearing the lyrics, reading the lyrics, and fortunately for me, not being a brilliant lyrical analyst, a lot of them have very straightforward messages. But there's one song in particular I've been wondering about for many years, and I just gotta ask you, what is the generator?
It's a title track of an album.
Yeah, I got that much.
And I've got to say that Brett wrote that song, and but since he and I can always deflect that, but since Brett and I talk about every song, since I'm the one who gives it the voice, your question is still valid. I can't just pass it off on Brett and have him answer it. But the generator is I guess you could call it the unmoved mover. And it could be thought of as the God particle, or it could be thought of as the Big Bang. It's an artistic expression that talks about what got things started.